Hello, everyone. I'm Tyler Sanders. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Center for Academic Vision and Excellence, or as you most likely know us, the CAVE. We're located on the first floor of Kirk Hall, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to join you virtually. I know I wish I could be in every classroom with you personally, but to be here with you virtually to share some tips on being a successful student here at St. Leo University when it comes to academic success. That is one of the priorities of our office, the CAVE, and student success. And so I'm going to take a little time to share some of the top 10 tips that I have for you. My alma mater is Ball State University, and David Letterman, if you know David Letterman, that might be aging me a little bit, but David Letterman used to do a top 10 list. And so I'm going to do a top 10 list for you of some of those strategies to help you be a successful student. Like I said, I am Tyler Sanders, but I think one of the first things that we have on this slide here is grab a piece of paper and a writing utensil to get started. I think this is one of the easiest things that we can do as students is when we get into the academic environment, the learning environment, is to get out that writing utensil, get out those tools to help us to be successful. Now, a lot of you, you're going for phones, you're going for tablets, you're going for computers. I think it's very old-fashioned. But when we think about retention, using that pencil, using that paper really helps us with retention of information. And so if you start getting in that mindset of grabbing a piece of paper and a pencil to start class, that is a great approach to getting you in the mindset that you're going to learn, that you're going to take something away from the class. And so always try to get yourself in that mindset within the classroom. I know it's easy. It's easy to be on your phone, be thinking about that. But in reality, if we really want to get in that mindset, we got to get that paper and pen ready to go. And a lot of my students I see do not do that. That's not the first thing they do. And so figuring out what that's going to be for you and how you're going to be first as a student is really essential to your success. So let's dig into these top 10 lists. First, we have to define success. And so on that piece of paper, with that pen, a pencil, whatever you have, go ahead and write down what is your definition of success. When you think of success, what does that mean to you? I'll give you a little time. Now, as you're writing it down, I'm going to tell you that I've done this presentation to a lot of different classrooms. And the thing I notice is that everyone defines the word success in a different way. A lot of people think about goals and meeting a goal, but we recognize that in life, sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. And so success sometimes is just being able to take away something from our experience. You know, we recognize that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. In the classroom, sometimes that's what we do. I think as students, we learn in second or third grade, what are those tools? What are those tricks that we use to memorize words, to take notes? And nobody tells us that we should do it any differently. Now, the reason I share that is because I would say I wasn't a good student until probably my second year of grad school. So we're talking about 16 years of learning before I was even self-aware enough to go, you know what? I need to change the way that I am thinking about success, the way that I'm performing using strategies in the classroom. And so that's the reason I like to share that, is because you still have time to think about what are some tools and tricks that actually work for me and what are some things that do not work for me. And I challenge you to really think about what those things are. Number one, attend class. Attend class. I have a lot of students that this is a struggle for us. But when we think about what is our primary goal in life right now, and as college students, that's usually we tend to graduation or finding a job. And so to do that, we've got to go to class. I don't know a lot of people or a lot of employers that if the employee doesn't show up for work, they still have a job. This is your current job. And while the hours are short, I love to say college is like retirement. You know, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day of classroom work. Um, but you can do this. You have to attend class. And if we don't attend class, of course, we recognize that there are times when we're not going to be able to attend class, whether we're sick, family emergency, or something like that. What happens when we don't attend class? What are the things that we miss? There's a lot of things that we miss content. We miss the opportunity to engage with some of our accountability buddies, some of our friends in the class. We miss that moment when the faculty member says, this is a good information you might need to know on the test. So if we're not in the classroom, I think something that could be very beneficial for us is to go ahead and figure out how can we make up what we've missed. Are we going to talk to the accountability buddy, our friend in the class, to make sure we miss? I think another great thing for me as a faculty member is to make sure that you reach out to that faculty member. Reach out to me. Let me know what is going on in your life. You know, sometimes we think of faculty members and we're a little afraid of them. We think they are the faculty member, and that is a little daunting for us. But I'm telling you, we're people too. We've been in your footsteps and we've been in those scary moments, or we've had those things happen in our lives, and we're people too. And so we want to be able to support you. And so when you're not able to make it to class, let us know what's going on. I struggle the most with students who miss several classes and I have no idea what's going on. And then they let me know something's been happening in their lives. We want you to be successful. That is, if you talk to faculty members or staff members, one of the most exciting times of our year is graduation. So we want you to be successful. We are not the bad guys. We are here to support you. But you have to attend class. You are the only one who can control that. And I know that's a little different than high school, but you're the only one who controls that. And so you show up to class. And if you don't show up to class, you figure out how you're going to hold yourself to a standard to cover the material that you potentially missed in that class. Number 2 is take notes. Take notes. I said it already, pulling out that paper and pencil to take some kind of notes. Now, there's a lot of different methods to taking notes. You can talk about mapping, you talk about just the standardized notes. But when it comes to retention, it comes to remembering information, you need to see information 5 to 7 times. When it comes to retention, you need to see information 5 to 7 times. And so if you're studying for a test or an exam, figuring out what those 5 to 7 times becomes important. One of the ways to help us get to those 5 to 7 times quicker is using the Cornell method. And so with the Cornell method, we are splitting the paper down into 3 quadrants. So not quadrants, 3 sections. So we're going to split it down, one here, and then we leave some room at the bottom. Now, if you've done any traditional note taking, that is what you're going to see here in this section, is types of matter, solids, liquids, gases. So whatever that topic may be, this is where you would take your standardized notes. If you have time during the class, of course, you can put in those keywords or those key topics that you're taking notes about. If not, this is a great opportunity for you outside of the classroom, post-classroom, to talk about or to review your notes and create these keywords. This final part, which is probably the best part, the part that's going to help you with retention the most, is that summary. You're reviewing that page and you're writing a summary of what you covered that day. For so many of us, we take notes and we reread those notes and we think that that's going to help us to remember it. In reality, rereading is not helping us to connect to material. We've got to come up with different strategies and approaches to see that material in different ways. And in this way, if we take those notes, we get to see that material as keywords and also summaries. And so you're getting 3 of the opportunities right there for that retention piece. Note taking is so important. And so figure out what that method is going to be for you. whether that's taking some notes before class, after class, and also during class. Find a way to keep those notes to help you with that retention of information. Number 3 is be an active participant. I love the picture of these kids. And the reason I love it is because it was you. It was me. It was each of us. We were those kids at some point in our life where we put our hand up in the air because we wanted to answer the question. Whatever year that was for you, first, second, third, when the teacher said the yellow boat sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, and the teacher asked, what color was the boat? Hands shoot up across the classroom. Purple, green, yellow. It didn't matter if you got it right. You wanted to have the opportunity to be active in your learning. You do the same thing all the time on your phone. You want to be active in what's going on in the world. And that's the reason we're always scrolling, is that we don't miss out on anything. The place where we're not scrolling is in the classroom. We're not an active participant. For instance, if you've already listened to this presentation so far, what were the first 2 bullet points that I brought up? What are the first 2? Number 1 was attend class. Number 2 was to take notes. And number 3 was be an active participant. If you're able to remember all 3 of those, then some way, whether that's in your note taking or whether that's in how you're processing the information I'm sharing, you are part of being active. If not, you've taken a more passive role in this presentation, whether that's through taking notes but not really thinking about what's happening during the presentation or what exactly I'm saying. You have to be the one that decides to be active. You're the one who has to decide whether you want to be active. And you know this, you recognize this in activities, when the teacher tells you to write something down. When I said, write down your definition of success. If you were a person who wrote it down, that's great. You're already being active in the classroom. If you're a person who was like, this guy's virtual, he doesn't necessarily know if I do it or not, recognize you have peers. There are people sitting around, your faculty member, the mentors may be in the classroom, and they recognize when you don't do that activity. You're paying a lot of money to come to St. Leo. And so if you want to be active in your learning, you have to be the one. Once again, you're the one who takes on this. So be an active participant. Figure out how you're going to be active in your learning. A lot of students will say to me, Tyler, I don't like this class. I don't like the class. Whether that's a religion class, an art class, a business class, there are going to be classes you don't love. And you know what I say to that? Life is just a big classroom. Life is a big classroom. Life is a team project, a group project. You're going to have jobs that you don't love, just like you're going to have classes you don't love. You're going to have teammates, classmates that you don't love. You're going to have people at your job that you don't love. And so we have to use each of these experiences in the classroom to help us set ourselves up for success in the future. You know, you often hear about history repeating itself. This is one of those experiences. If you're having an experience in the classroom that you don't love, if you're having an experience with teammates you don't love, use that for the future to elevate yourself in those situations when they come up in the workspace, because you've already been through it. How did you overcome? How did you combat those issues? And so, like I said, you're going to have classes you don't love, but think about what you're going to get out of those classes you don't love. There's got to be something that motivates you for those classes, those university explorations. A lot of you struggle with some of them. What's it going to be? Is it the material? Is it coming up with more ways to critically think? Is it just getting some fun facts that you can share when you go out with your friends and be like, did you know that so-and-so is related to so-and-so? Or maybe there's just a significant other or friend that you get out of the class. Figure out what that thing is. For each of your classes, you've got to have a reason, something that helps to motivate you in case you don't love that class. You've got to be an active participant, but that's on you to figure out how you're going to be that active participant. Number 4 is ask questions. This is a great one for all of us introverts. I am for sure an introvert, but it's important that we ask questions because not only do we have that question, but most likely somebody else has that question. And so we have to be more thoughtful. We have to be always on our toes and active within the classroom. And one of the ways we do that is by asking questions. And so whether you're asking questions to peers, mentors, tutors, or even your faculty member, be sure to ask questions. That is a part of the learning process. And if you have the question, somebody has an answer. And once again, I talked about how everyone's here to help you to graduate, to help you to be successful. We don't know until you ask a question. So always ask questions ahead of time. We don't know. And that's one of the biggest things that students struggle with at any institution I've worked at, is you don't let us know until it's too late. So if you're struggling with anything, be sure to reach out. Let somebody know before it's too late. Number 4 was ask questions. Number 5, visit office hours. A perfect place to ask questions. Now, this is the moment in the presentation that if I was with you there, I would say, what are office hours? How do we define office hours? Think about it a little bit. Think about it a little bit. Office hours are the time when faculty members set aside time just for you. This is time dedicated to you, answering those questions, having one-on-one conversations, and getting to know your faculty members a little bit more. And as a faculty member, I'll tell you the time that I've spent the most time alone not talking to students is during office hours. During office hours is the time that I spend the most alone not talking to students because they don't take advantage of it. You don't take advantage of those office hours. I know the first time is scary. I have been there. I sat outside the office. I didn't know what was going to happen at office hours. But then when I sat down and got to know the faculty member, got that one-on-one time and was able to talk to them a little bit, it was so beneficial. So beneficial. I'll tell you a quick story. I had to take History 150 as a part of my gen eds, my university explorations. And it's just a general Western history course. I had a great faculty member. He would do not bits, he would tell stories, but he would dress up as the historical characters when he would come to class. And it was really wonderful. But I struggled. I struggled with some of that memorization that we talked about, some of the retention of information. And so I went to his office hours and I would have the study guide and I would say, Dr. Marshall, what do you mean about this? I don't remember reading about it. I don't remember you lecturing about it. What do you mean by this? And he would say, well, you remember when I talked about this? That's what I'm referring to. Or you remember when we did that activity on this? That's what I'm referring to. And throughout the semester, my grade improved a little by little by little until the point of the last exam. And so we had 2 parts. We had exam 4, I think, or exam 5, and then a cumulative. I did the same thing every exam. I would go to Dr. Marshall's office. I'd say, Dr. Marshall, what are these? I don't understand these. And he would help me out. He'd help me out. Now, this is off the beaten path, but one of the things that I do or did every semester as a student is I would write a thank you note to my faculty member. And it was an email. After the final exam, I would go back to my room and I would say, Dear Dr. Marshall, I just want to thank you for the time that you committed to me in your class this semester. I really enjoyed the unit about whatever you've enjoyed about the course, or if you've made some connection talking about them. but just letting them know. I would let them know what my goal grade was. My goal grade for your class was an A minus or a B plus, whatever that may be. And I hope that I was able to achieve that for this semester. Thank you again so much. And I look forward to seeing you on campus, whatever that may be. So Dr. Marshall responds and he says, Tyler, I just wanted to reach out to you. Thank you for the thoughtful message. For exam 4, you got 100% on it. You didn't miss any. For the cumulative exam, you got, I don't remember what I got, 85, I don't know. I see that your goal grade was an A minus, and I wanted to let you know that you did not achieve that grade. But because you were so active in the classroom and because I know that you are working towards that grade, I'm going to go ahead and give you that A minus. Not every faculty member is going to do that for you. That's not the point of this story. The point of this story is that we have several students in our sections, and some of them we'll never see. They don't come to class. They aren't active. They don't get to know us. They don't come to the office hours. But the ones that do, the ones that give that extra effort, we're aware of that. And no, not every faculty member is going to change a grade for you because of that. But make those connections. This is the perfect opportunity to network. And office hours is one of those opportunities where you can use that to your advantage to get to know your faculty a little bit more and to get those questions answered. Number 6 is seek out resources. And here we are. We have the cave on here. Oh, this is Kirk Hall, but the first floor is primarily the cave. If you've been in the classrooms, 123, 124, lots of our SLU 101 classes happen in Kirk 122, but the rest of it, the first floor is the cave and the Student Success Suite. We do have PAL coaches, which you'll be doing for an assignment in your SLU 101 course. The PAL coaches are meant to talk you through all of the different things that you may be struggling with in class, whether that's time management or note-taking or test anxiety. They are there. They are peers that have been successful here at St. Leo, potentially our SLU 101 mentors, but they are our student leaders, and they are happy to work with you and tell stories and come up with strategies to help you be successful. If you're looking for something more specific, writing, math, all of the different areas of academia, we have our tutors. Our peer tutors are also on that in that cave section. You'll see the signs above the storage units that say what their area is, what topic they are able to discuss with you. They've already taken the course, and they're going to be able to help you when it comes to tutoring. If you don't want to just drop in, we do have the schedules posted out there, but if you don't want to just drop in, of course, you are able to schedule appointments through academia. And so when you go to Okta, which you've kind of started to get used to, your courses are in Okta, your email may be in Okta, Academia, which is spelled just like academics, Academia. You'll go in there, you'll select the course and what you're wanting, what resource or tutoring or PAL coaches and the course, and then you potentially pick the faculty member if there's a specific faculty member for the course, and then it'll show all the available times that our tutors are available for that specific unit. So we're able to do that for you here in the cave as well. If it's outside of the classroom or it's something that you don't feel like you should share with peers, of course, you've already probably met your student success coaches. They are in the hallway here. You can always stop by at the desk to see if they're taking drop-ins or if you need to schedule an appointment to talk to them. They are the people that I suggest going to if you have a question, if something comes up that you're like, this email is weird or I don't understand what this is. The student success coaches are somebody who are very helpful when it comes to that. We also have testing accommodations. If you worked with our Office of Accessibility Services, we're able to host that here. We also do presentations next week, usually during week 5 of the semester, if not week 4 or 6, depends on the semester. But next week, this semester is Student Success Week. So we will put on several programs presented by different offices across campus, all intended to help you with your success. So be sure to attend one of those. Number 7, I already talked about our student success coaches, but we have another person that is very similar. You think of like the guidance counselor, we have our student success coaches, and we have our faculty advisors. Your student success coaches are generalists. So when I was a student success coach, my major was business administration, but I worked with our College of Arts and Science students. So a student success coach is a generalist that's assigned to your college, but that doesn't necessarily mean their degree is from the area in which you are studying. However, your faculty advisor will have a degree in the area that you are studying. And so you'll meet with your student success coach primarily during your freshman and sophomore year, and you'll meet with your faculty advisor during your junior and senior year. That is because your faculty advisor has experience in your field. And so when it comes to internships, when it comes to job placement, most likely they've had a job in your area of study. And so they're going to be able to better assist you when it comes to that. But if you haven't met both your faculty advisor and your student success coach, I'd figure out who they are. You can look up the student success coaches online or stop by the office. Your faculty advisor is going to be on that evaluation that you pulled for the technology adventure. So the name up there is going to be your faculty advisor. But you want to meet with them. They're the people who are able to help you with all the stuff and answer questions. So be sure to schedule an appointment to meet with them at least once a semester. Plan, plan, plan. If you haven't already figured out, in the first 2 weeks of a semester, 80% of your life is already scheduled. In the first 2 weeks of the semester, 80% of your life is already scheduled. And that's because you have your syllabi, you have your assignments. Really, you have an idea of what the semester is going to look like. And so if you don't already have a planner, if you don't already have a calendar, be sure to get yourself hooked up with something to help you with that. I have been out of college for a long time, but I still have this giant calendar because that's how I like to manage and schedule my time. There's lots of ways. I just wanted to pull this out just real quick. But there's lots of ways to look at your time and figure out how you can be successful. So make sure you know what your week looks like. Make sure you know what your months look like. When it comes to assignment, use each of your planners in different ways to help you be successful. But you can't just fly by the seat of your pants. You really got to figure out how you're going to take that time to help you be successful. And so plan. If you haven't done it already, start to look at your semester and where you're headed. Number 9, study with others. I've talked about those accountability partner. I've talked about having those people in your classes that are going to help you to be successful. They are essential. They are the people who, my example is always, I get together a set of note cards to memorize words. I'm using them, and I offer them to a friend. And my friend goes, "You defined that word wrong. You have this wrong." Without others, you don't have somebody double checking with you. And how much more fun is it to be able to study with others and to create quiz games or opportunities like that? And so find those people. If you haven't already in your class, for each class, find who those people are for you so that they are able to be a part of your study groups or study session. You need to have someone. It's really going to help you to be successful as a student. And number 10 is be well. I know a lot of you are in SLU 125, and so you're talking about wellness all the time, but you recognize the wellness wheel is so essential. And if we are missing part of that wellness wheel, if we're not focusing on all of our areas of wellness, we cannot be successful. And so figure out what those areas are that you're struggling with. Do you need to make a phone call home? Do you need to call counseling services? Do you need to start sleeping more, getting those 7 to 9 hours, or making sure you have a healthy meal? You need to maybe just talk to friends more often, share your emotions. Think about what it is that you need and look at those 8 dimensions of wellness so that you are a well rounded person. And that helps you to become a well rounded student. It's going to help you to be successful. Now, I've shared those 10 tips, and there are so many more. Um, the one last one that I'll leave you with is my favorite because it's the one that helped me the most, is that I could not sit and write a paper to save my life. I could not. I'm always focused on if it needs to be a 5-page paper, I am going to write until I have 5 pages. So I'm on 4.5 and I do whatever I can come up with, add some adjectives. And I realized this technology has evolved. We have talk to text in our phones. And so I realized that I could pull up my notes. And so it'll be a paper on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'll take some notes just on a little sheet of paper like this. And then I'll start the talk to text and just let it record me. I talk and talk all of the thoughts that I have on whatever paper I'm writing, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then I send that note, copy and paste it into an email and send it to myself. And what I found on the first one I ever did, I did it for a law paper. And the paper needed to be 10 pages. When I copied and pasted and made it double spaced and did 12-point font, I had talked out 15 pages of content. 15 pages of content. No longer was I typing out to try and get to the page limit. I was able to go back, synthesize my information. When you talk, sometimes you repeat things. I was able to pull out some of that stuff. I changed the way I was writing. I saved time in my writing, saved time in my life, which we talked about plan. I saved time so that I could go back and spend more time editing and less time trying to get to a page count. There's so many tips like that. And if you have an additional time after this virtual presentation, I hope that your faculty member and your mentors will get you all together to talk through some more tips. There's so many out there, but recognize what you did in 2nd and 3rd grade may not work anymore. And so figure out what those tips are for you and always be willing to try new things. You define what success is, and success for each of us is different, but you're the one who is in control. You've got this. I hope you have a great semester. It was so nice. Thank you for spending time with me. We'll see you at graduation. Have a great day.